You have to be careful who you take advice from. So, I'll give you an example. I know this couple that's been together for, I've known them for 20 years, and they give advice, and it's not that it's bad advice, it's advice if you want to be an employee. So I just dealt with this over the past weekend, and again, I just hear a lot of people over the years, say, oh, yeah, my Uncle Bob told me not to start a business. And I'm like, oh, well, what does Uncle Bob do? Well, Uncle Bob's, been an employee his entire life. I'm like, well, why are you asking Uncle Bob how to start a business if he's never done one? So it's funny because they give advice based off their how they see everything, which is being an employee, and they are very successful as employees through their entire career, and that's what they want to do. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that if I was in a different position, I was, let's say, younger, and I was taking advice from them, they would be pushing me down the road of being an employee, go to work, do whatever you have to do to make your money, and that's it. You know what I mean? And like just that employee, that typical employee mindset. And I just hear what they have to say, to other people, whatever. And also, it's funny, their investing advice is also very, very conservative, right? A lot of employees that I know are also very conservative in other parts of life too. Like they're not go-getters, they're not taking chances and whatnot. And I'm not doing a blanket statement on everybody. I'm just looking at averages here. And their investment advice is also very conservative, just like their careers. And when I told them I was doing crypto a while ago, over a year ago, they're like, no, 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 don't do it. You're gonna lose money, all this stuff. And I did it, made money. And I remember telling them the first time around, they're like, oh my god, like, how do I get in? After the fact. But anyway, when I first started my first company, I asked my dad, who was an employee person his entire life, and told me, go get a job, do your 40 years or whatever. And I asked a very wealthy guy at the time the same question, who was an entrepreneur, and he said, you're young, take a chance, you have nothing to lose. And I looked at myself at the time, I said, well, who do I want to be like? I'm like, do I want to be the guy who has money? He lived in a big house in a wealthy area, and my dad didn't have a lot of money and didn't live in a big house in a wealthy area. So I was like, well, I want to be more like that guy. So let me go down that road. Let me take advice from him. So, anyways, it's just real simple. Take advice from anybody, everybody. That's fine. But just be careful on who you listen to and what you do based on what your goals are, right? So, simple example, if you want to become an Olympian, are you going to take advice from me to become an Olympian? No. You're going to take advice from an Olympic coach or someone who's become an Olympian, right? So it's a very simple concept, but we can only really ask people for advice of who we're around. And that's why they say you're the average of the closest five people, or whatever the numbers are, the closest people that you surround yourself around, that's going to be like your average or your net worth of who you put yourself around, because those are the people that are going to influence you and push you down certain roads and give you advice, etc., etc. So you want to make sure that your circle of influence is the right influence that you're going for. Now, me growing up, I didn't have that influence. Everybody around me was broke. We were broke. So I had to almost like break the mold. And again, that wealthy person that gave me all that advice was my girlfriend's father at the time. So I didn't really have anybody. If I didn't have him to take advice from at the time, who knows? So you just got to make sure now with the internet, with groups and all this other stuff, it's so easy to put yourself in a room, whether it's online or even in person, of people that you want to be like, or something that you're trying to do. Like if you're looking to start a franchise, just as an example, you go talk to a franchise consultant, but you talk to multiple to see what's right, what works for you. Just because someone is in the industry doesn't mean they're still giving you the best advice. So you still want to even take more advice from multiple people, even in that specific industry. Anyway, I could talk about this for hours, but getting ready to fly to Vegas tomorrow for our mastermind this weekend. We'll be on TV again in Vegas on Wednesday morning. So, I'm just continuing with the stuff that we're doing. On the all-in-one marketing side, provide our TV interview services, our software, and we are launching a chief marketing officer slash consulting service I'm really, really excited about. I love the B2B space. I love working with companies. I think we can do a really good job with this. I mean, I help out so many companies just on a daily basis, just normally, just, people I'm around, people ask me advice, and we are really good at what we do, and we have a great team, and that's really the key here. We just been building this team for years now for all the stuff that we do for ourselves, and I just know for a fact that I can really help companies out. So with Kevin Harrington, we're bringing in Omar Periu. If you don't know who he is, look him up. Guy's an absolute beast. 27 best-selling books. He was the original founder or whatever for LA Fitness. Basically, LA Fitness is where it is today because of Omar, and that guy does a lot. He's a beast in the business world. Of course, Kevin Harrington, his Rolodex, his experience, his career is ridiculous, and just everybody else that we have. So I think we'd be absolutely crush it. So really excited about that. We'll be announcing that at our event this weekend. And that's it. So hopefully you're enjoying your summer. And oh yeah, I also made the Inc. 5000 list for the 5th time. 5 times. I got to get like a cool photo now. Anyway, so you guys have a good night. Hopefully, if you're coming to Vegas, we'll see you there.